In about 3 hours or so, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission is set to hear from people caught in the middle of a growing fight over border construction in Big Bend. The focus is expected to include proposed federal border infrastructure in and around Big Bend Ranch State Park. Now, Susan Hayes is an incoming commissioner for Presidio County, one of the 3 counties that make up that Big Bend region. She's also an attorney, and she works with the group No Big Bend Wall. Welcome, Susan. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for
I know you've got that meeting, so we really do appreciate your time. So the federal picture has shifted a bit, right? Customs and Border Protection paused construction, all activity in Big Bend National Park, while Commissioner Rodney Scott, says he's reviewing everything. But that pause doesn't answer all your questions, right? What exactly is your group asking the commission to clarify?
There are endless questions because this whole project has happened in secret. There have been billion-dollar no-bid secret contracts, $7.5 billion worth given out to 3 construction companies. And as best we can tell, someone in D.C. drew a line on a map and said, build it there, with no knowledge of the local terrain, no knowledge of the local hydrology, this is flash flood country, and no knowledge of the landowners. And that area it's so much broader than Big Bend National Park. I mean, I really consider the Big Bend all the way from Hudspeth County down to like Amistad and Del Rio, because it's all incredibly rough country, 1,500-foot canyon walls, mountains, muddy, boggy river bottom. The idea of building a wall in it is a complete waste.
And before we move forward, Susan, let's explain to viewers, there's state park and there's the national. It's so confusing,
There's even more. There's a new state park out there.
Oh, goodness.
So we have, I mean, Texas is unlike the rest of the Southwest in that the land ownership is very diverse. We've got Big Bend National Park, federal land, Big Bend State Ranch Park, state land, which Texas Parks and Wildlife manages. There is a new Chenati Mountain State Park that's not quite open to the public yet, and Parks and Wildlife owns sections of land that are not even part of that park that touch the river. And then all up and down the river, you have General Land Office managed state land. This is the land that endows the University of Texas and Texas A&M University systems. A lot of those sections are leased out to ranchers, but the government, the state of Texas, still controls them. That is our sovereign land we should be protecting. And then you have hundreds of private landowners. You know, what's unusual, because a river runs through it, because it is a desert river, there aren't big swaths of huge 10,000 acre ranches. Instead, it's small parcels that have historically been farmed and ranched, because the riverfront is the most valuable land. That's where there's water. That's where you can grow grass. That's where we can grow crops. So if you're trying to make a living at all out there, you have to have access to the river, and a wall would destroy that.
So what do you want the commission to answer? Does it have anything to do with the Chapter 26, whether they held a public hearing before authorizing this?
Yes, I mean, parkland is set aside to be parkland. It's
protected.
Whether it is the national park, that land was given to the federal government to be a park, not to be walled off for border security. Same goes for our state parkland. That belongs to all of us. It is the right of Texans to access that state parkland and to see it preserved as parkland. So Chapter 26 protects that. And so far, there have not been significant activities, construction activities, in Big Bend Ranch State Park or other, TPWD, Texas Parks and Wildlife Department controlled land. And we want it to stay that way. That's ours. And it's for the wildlife. It's for the enjoyment of families. I mean, some of their initial plans would have walled off one of the most popular hikes in the state park, a place called the Hoodoos, which is a nice roadside hike you can take small children to and go down to the river and see cool rock formations. That's there for all of Texas to enjoy.
What about the pause? Is there a small victory to be had here?
Yeah, the pause is a huge victory. I mean, these contractors showed up in the Big Bend barreling through without regard to any rules, with this attitude that, well, the Trump administration waived 20-plus federal laws. We can do whatever we want. They started carving up county roads without permission, carving up state land without permission. We've now documented and caught them trespassing on private land and building a road without permission. The arrogance of it. And part of it is there's this huge amount of money's been dumped on it, but it's our tax dollars that's now being used to destroy our land, where it's our public park land or the private parcels owned by individual landowners, the hundreds of individual landowners throughout the greater
You'll be
region.
at that meeting later
I
on
will
today at
definitely
2
be at
o'clock.
that meeting
Well, we
later
appreciate your
today.
time. We're out of time. Susan Hayes, thank you so much for dropping by before
you
that
so much
meeting
for having me
to
here
enlighten us
and
about that.
publicizing what's happening to our
Absolutely. Susan, thank you so much.